Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Nick, in case you don't know me. I'm the creator of Define My Day, and I am here today to check in and see how everybody in the user group is doing. Um, it's Tuesday, and this is my second day out of bed. And I'll tell you what, I'm a little shaky. I worked out yesterday. I lifted light weights just to kind of get moving, right? And today was a cardio day, so I decided to, because the sidewalk and the driveway needed to be done, I figured I'd shovel some snow. And I was fine. I was fine. I was out there in my shorts and a t-shirt. It's 25 degrees because that's just how I roll. It's a mental toughness thing for me. But I'm like shaky. I mean, it's amazing how much your body can decline in like a week or a week and a half of like not moving. That I think combined with being sick, like shoveling snow around, probably was a little bit more than I needed to be doing, especially because it's heavy, really heavy snow. But so I'm like, I'm like, oh my goodness. I don't know if it's like I'm low in sugar or what, but I'm coping. So forgive me if I'm like a little jittery right now. But today I wanted to talk about a couple of things that I've come up with. And again, if you're catching this not live, it's okay. I'm going to be here randomly throughout the week just to talk about a couple of things. I'm making up for not being around to talk about habits and routines last week. So this week, or today, I want to talk about sleep. It's one of the biggest things that I think we take for granted. So I want to talk about that. But first, I want to talk about a a new habit, or well, no, I'm sorry, a new like a habit we do in Define My Day, but a new way of doing it. I have been re-listening to the book by Sean Webb called Mind Hacking Happiness. It's a self-published book, and this guy is a smart dude, and it's all about like taking control of your own happiness and understanding your own thought processes and what makes you happy, what makes you unhappy. And one of the really cool concepts that I'm glad I'm listening again because I need to kind of relearn it, I think, is this idea of a self map. And the more things you put on a self map, the kind of like the more upset that we get about things. So like when you identify with more things, like think of your favorite sports team, like if you're really angry when somebody insults your sports team, it's because that sports team is on your self map. And so if we can try to remove that from our self map because it's not really us, then we don't get upset about that anymore. And there's so many other things. If just think of anything you get mad about. If somebody insults or you feel like somebody's, kind of hurting some thing you believe in, whether it's politics or sports or whatever, like that's on your self map because you identify personally with that, and that creates unhappiness when somebody kind of encroaches upon that. So I'm trying to think about that myself, in what areas, like what things upset me and how I can maybe kind of pull back from that, especially now with this past year, and it's been really weird. So trying to like look at that as I'm going through this book. So I'm listening to that book, I'm reading another book, but in this book, the one thing that he talks about is affirmations, and he talks about like when you tell yourself things, the brain really believes it. And when you're doing affirmations, that is, you're really just, your brain kind of lights up with that stuff. And the way he says to do affirmations, I'm actually trying because I'm doing a new Define My Day this week, and he says to write "I can" with your affirmations. So then, your brain doesn't catch you in a lie when you say "I am." Your brain is actually like you're giving yourself the opportunity, like I can today be the person that I say I want to be. So I'm trying it this month to see how it works for me. So I would change some of my. I can open my mine right now. I think I think I have a problem with the ground on the plug that my computer is plugged into. And so when I walk into the room and I touch the microphone and everything shut off on me. So it's kind of like coming back up now. But let me go back to my affirmations. They're not on. Why aren't they on there? What's going on? I don't know why I can't see this page. Sorry. For some reason, I can't go back to page 1. There we go. Okay. I can't, so one of my affirmations is I am healthy. So one of the affirmations now is I can be healthy. So then as I go through my day, when I'm making a bad decision or I'm about to make a bad decision, I can say to myself, I can be healthy. Like I can make a decision right now to not have an unhealthy snack. Or if I don't want to do my workout, I can be healthy and do my workout. I can be truthful. I can be an attentive father because, sometimes I'm not. But I can be today. So all that sort of stuff. So I thought that was an interesting thing. So I figured I'd roll that out to you guys if you're doing your affirmations right now. If you're going through that and having a hard time with it, try rewording them and see if they're maybe more effective if you say I can. But what I really wanted to talk about today briefly was sleep. Hi, Debbie. Good to see you. So sleep, one of the most important things. And, I didn't realize it, like how bad I was feeling until, I started really focusing on my sleep. And there's been some things that have caused some bad sleep in recent years. Bad habits and things that have been going on. And so I've really been making an effort to focus on getting really good sleep. It was kind of like a boiling frog situation. I didn't realize how poorly I was sleeping until I started sleeping well and like the negative impact that was having on me. And I started waking up and feeling refreshed and not feeling like I was struggling to get through a day. And it was like a completely different world. And I have more energy to focus and read and do all my healthy things and do my work and deal with situations that would previously just wear me down or I wouldn't have the patience for. Now I have more energy to do it. And so, I'm doubling down on how important I believe sleep is. And in our process, the one thing we want to do is first we have to identify how much sleep we really need. So, and I would say you want to kind of just improve it over time. Like, so right now, if you're getting 6 hours of sleep, try to get 6.5. The goal should be at least 7 if you can't get 8. And I'll tell you what, for me, I can't get 8 because my body won't let me. I went to bed last night at my new goal now is to get to bed by 10 o'clock. I was in bed by 10 o'clock. I wasn't asleep until after 11. And I woke up like that at 4. I was up. And so I kind of had to, I screwed around a little bit. I read a little bit and I got myself back to sleep, I think around 4:30, and I slept for another couple hours. But, it's just like trying to get into that rhythm and just get into a healthy rhythm where you can start to get yourself some good quality sleep. And in the Define My Day process, it's defining that for yourself and putting that on your disciplines. Like we have that, it just says sleep. We want you to define for yourself what a good amount of sleep is. And then in your ideal day, we want you to define your bookends for your day. So you're going to wake up at a certain time, and that's the time you're going to commit to waking up, and you're going to do it. You can use Mel Robbins' 5-second rule and 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, get out of bed. No decisions to be made. Just get out of bed. And it's hard. It takes time to do that, but, you got to do it. It's just things we got to do. And then at night, having that bookend of like, I'm going to get to bed and I'm going to get to bed on time. And again, it takes work. But the goal being, more important than how difficult it is, the goal being refreshed and having a more efficient day between those bookends, right? So another book that, where I really got a lot of insight into this was Sleep Smarter, 21 Essential Strategies to Sleep Your Way to a Better Body, Better Health, and Bigger Success. And that is by Sean Stevenson. It was a really good audiobook. I listened to the audiobook, and it's read by the author. I believe it is, anyway, if I remember correctly. It's been a while. I actually want to circle back to this one when I'm finished with the one I'm currently on. And there's a lot of things in there that, you just don't really think about, and you might not even be aware of, and it might not be what you want. But for myself, I kind of got used to some of the things. Like he talks about, blacking out the room completely. Um, we have a lot of electronics in our rooms, even our, our watches or our phones light up in the middle of the night. And I realized that even like the light on my TV at night, puts out quite a bit of, like, not the TV itself, but the power light puts out quite a bit of light into the room. And as I started blacking out my room by closing the blinds, by covering up some of the electronics, or turning the brightness down on some of the electronics, and certainly turning my phone over. Because even if vibrate's turned off, if do not disturb is turned on, it still kind of lights up every so often. And I found that as I got used to darkness and as I was sleeping better, if Lynn would leave her phone on her nightstand, even if it never buzzed, if it lit up the room, it woke me up. And I became more aware of it as, I was sleeping better. And then, like as I wasn't being woken up periodically normally, now the few times I was realizing, what was going on. So, trying to make the room as dark as possible. They even did an experiment in this book that they referenced where, they put an electrode or a light emitting diode, an LED on the back of someone's knee. And so that you couldn't see it. And there was no, like, their bodies weren't aware that it was, like they were not consciously aware. But it negatively impacted their sleep when it was turned on behind their knee. Now, you might not believe that, but read the book and maybe that he can convince you. Keeping the room cold is something that, like, I need to have a cold room because I get real hot at night. And so keeping the room like 60, 62 degrees is really a great temperature. And in fact, I didn't even realize that's how cold, like, so our house gets down to 64 at night. And I didn't realize, like, I have all the vents in my bedroom closed, and I didn't realize until I was taking my temperature periodically last week. It also, the thermometer that I have is an ear thermometer, but it also does room temperature. And the room temperature in my bedroom is 60.7 is what it was coming up at. And I didn't even believe it. I didn't realize it was that cool because I don't think I could normally live with that. But that's what it was. And I've been sleeping great lately. Not tossing and turning so much. Sleeping through the night. It's been pretty good aside from me waking up at 4 a.m. But my sleep is all screwed up right now because of last week. I mean, I was sleeping like 18 hours a day, if not more. So. But very, very good book, some good tips on how to sleep. And I think that, again, I can't stress enough. It's that when if your day is hard, if you have a hard time focusing, if you have a hard time getting mustering the willpower to get things done that you need to get done, a lot of that can start with poor sleep. And so if you can do your best to sleep and sleep well and get yourself in a good routine, it gives you that energy to do what you need through the day. And for people worried about mental health and dementia down the road, it can be a major factor in that. They say that on brain scans, I think on like an fMRI, I believe is what they used. They can see that when you're in REM sleep, that the brain has it's almost like a washing machine function going on in there, where it's like cleansing the pathways with spinal fluid. Like it's like kind of swishing around in there. And they say what's going on is your brain is pruning unused pathways in your mind. That's why we talk about, your thoughts. Like the more you think about something, the more you're more efficiently thinking about those things. So that's why we try to train our thoughts towards more productive things with Define My Day. But so, your brain is pruning unused pathways, and it's also like washing away toxins that build up through the day as you use your brain. And then it's just kind of like flushing them out. And they say that's part of the cause of dementia as you get older, is that, like, there's things that build up in there, and if it's not properly cleansed out, it can cause problems in your brain. So like Alzheimer's and all that sort of thing. So it's they're saying sleep is a good preventative measure for Alzheimer's and a lot of other diseases also. depression and all sorts of things. So Sleep Smarter, excellent book. I would highly recommend it. I'll post a link in the comments here when we're done. And then the last book that I want to recommend that is very interesting. I thought it was very interesting, and it'll change when I schedule elective surgeries for the rest of my life, is When: The Scientific Secrets of Perfect Timing by Daniel Pink. And it's about, like, he has, there's two main types of people. There's the lark, which is the person that has a lot of energy during the day. And then there's the owl, the people that have energy at night. There's more larks in the world than owls, and then there's another kind of person that's like in the middle of the day, they have more energy. But the point is to understand what type you are and capitalize on that to use your energy to your advantage, but then also get good rest to your advantage. And the reason I mentioned when to get elective surgery is because, while we might not think of it, doctors are people too, and they make mistakes the same way that anybody else doing a job makes mistakes. And if a doctor is fresh going into surgery in the morning rather than being worn down, there's a significantly lower incidence of problems caused by mistakes made in the operating room when the operation is when the doctor is just coming on shift, compared to somebody that's been working all day long. There's also information in there about, like, when people get hungry, when they're, all sorts of things. Like, if you're a guy going up for parole, or a woman going up for parole, you don't want to catch the judge when they're in the middle of the day cranky and hungry, because you will go back to prison. So all sorts of interesting things in here. It was a New York Times bestseller. Really, really good book. It was very interesting. So that was When: The Scientific Secrets of Perfect Timing by Daniel Pink. So that's pretty much it for me. I just wanted to check in and say hi to everybody. I'm going to try to be here each afternoon at different times, but I will schedule it earlier in the day so you can see when these are going to happen. I know you might be at work and you might be doing other things. This isn't like normal, but I just want to check in and check in with everybody. So keep an eye out. If you can make one, that's awesome. If not, that's okay too. You can always catch the replay here. If you have any questions, please leave a comment in the comment section, and I will get back to you as soon as I can. Or you can private message us, whatever you like. We're here for you. But I hope everybody has a great evening. I am off to finish some work, and then I'm going to make tacos. It is taco night in this house. Have a great Tuesday. Define your day to define your life. I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye.